Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, which is brought to you by Princess Cruises and Baxter Media. I'm Dan McDonald with Baxter, and today is Tuesday, December 10th. Just before we get started, I'd like to let everyone know that if you have any questions during this webinar, feel free to type them into the Q&A box found in your Zoom toolbar, and those questions will be answered after the presentation has finished. Also, if you have any problems hearing or seeing the presentation, just type a quick message into the chat box, and I'll do my best to assist you. Be sure to stay signed in for the entire duration of the webinar to be eligible for the prize, which of course is a 7-day Caribbean cruise with Princess. Presenting today is John Chernesky, Senior Vice President of North America Sales and Trade Marketing for Princess Cruises and Cunard. Hi John, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
We're doing great, thanks. And John, since you're already sharing your screen, you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. Thank you all so much for joining in, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to learn a bit about Princess and Cunard, and we'll dive right in. With every presentation I give, I always like to show a picture of my boys, John and Michael, my twin boys, John and Michael, back when they were actually cute, and they are now 13 years old, so they are, without question, not so cute. But I want to move forward into a picture of them. Sorry for that little logo there. Want to move forward with them, the recent photo, as they just turned 13 and are joining 7th grade, so I have no idea what's going on. But enough about them. Let's get back to me. This is John Chernesky, and I only wish I looked something like that. So moving into our presentation, I want to show a picture of my trusted bobblehead, because this is what I really think I look like, and this has become kind of a bigger ego than even I have. But he is out there. And so if you see the bobblehead around, please take a picture and post it on my Facebook page. All right, at Princess, we like to call ourselves the destination leader. And that is a very bold statement because we know that many cruise lines go to many different destinations. But the way we do it and the recognition we've received is really why we call ourselves the destination leader. First up, we get a bunch of awards. Travel experts have anointed us great at so many things. And I want to draw your attention to the very top left, where it says I'm the best sales executive according to every travel advisor on planet Earth. Of course, that is not true. But what is true is when you look at our loyalty level of guests. So this is a review of our elite level of the Princess Loyalty Program, Princess Captain Circles program. And back in 2004, we had just under 12,000 people who had taken 16 cruises or more. And if you look at the projection for next year and how we're trending, we're going to be at about 135,000. And that is a great testament to a couple things. One is the delivery of our products and service on board from our great crew, because without that, people aren't coming back. And the other thing is the destinations that we go to. We do not sit ourselves in one destination. We truly see the world. And I think because of that, we are seeing a return of people who come back again and again and again. And you all know in your world, in your life, day in, day in, you go to a restaurant, you buy something, you buy a car, what have you. And if you don't like that experience or that product, you're not going to buy it again, right? And so the fact that people are coming back again and again really says everything to us. And so this is really great. But what's also, I think, important is to look at is what the travel advisor community thinks of each brand from a destination standpoint. And every year, the Gallup organization does a survey of travel advisors throughout North America, and they ask them to rank, they ask you all to rank by destination, which brand you recommend first, second, and third. And you can see here from the 2019 survey, Princess was #1 in Alaska, #1 in Mexico, #1 in Panama Canal, #1 in Asia and South Pacific, and #1 in South America. So awesome rankings there. And we were a close second in Europe, #2 in Hawaii, and #4 in Caribbean. In the Caribbean, we're actually the 4th largest from a capacity standpoint. So not too surprising that we're in the #4 slot. This is a great testament to what you all think of us, and we thank you very much for those votes of confidence. One thing I wanted to share was some insight related to a very large study that was done a few years back that focused on the entire cruise industry. We hired McKinsey Group to go and study the industry, and they did this massive review and creating a psychographic profile of various consumers who cruise and which cruise brand they might attach themselves to. And so as part of this study, there were 8 buckets or 8 categories that were created. And I'm showing you 4 up here that people don't think of themselves as a discerning recharger, but it's how you create this study and how we were able to kind of create these 4 categories. And out of the 8 categories, Princess fit into 4 categories. Most cruise lines fit into maybe 1 or 2. And so the fact that Princess fit into so many shows the broad appeal that we have. I mean, we're not the perfect brand for every consumer out there, but the fact that we hit 4 of these categories more than anybody shows the broad appeal that we have. Okay, diving into our #1 destination, which is Alaska. And we call ourselves the #1 cruise brand in Alaska for a few different reasons. This has nothing to do with the fact that we are just celebrating our 50th year of going there in 2019. It's more to do with the amount of people that we take. We take more people to Alaska than any other cruise line. We have won the Travel Weekly Award, which ranks both consumer and travel advisor feedback for Alaska for 15 times. And if you look at the Gallup survey, which again is the results focused on what the trade community thinks of each destination, we have actually been the #1 ranked brand for Alaska for 18 straight years. And so we appreciate that vote of confidence and that trust that you put in us for delivering great Alaska experiences to your clients. But believe me, it's nothing that we rest on. We don't say, oh, well, we're #1 so we can take the foot off the pedal. It is all about continuing to improve our experience there and all that we do. So like I say, we're 50 years going to Alaska. We have a number of land and sea cruise tour options, which I'm going to talk about. And I just want to show this slide because I love the picture of the moose. It's a great shot. He looks like he's just chilling, hanging out, which is so cool. Okay, on Princess in 2020, we have a variety of ships that will be sailing to Alaska, from our smallest ship, the Pacific Princess, just over 600 people, all the way up to our Royal Princess. So we give that opportunity for a variety of ship sizes for your clients, depending on their needs and interests. We call ourselves the Homeport cruise line for the West Coast because of the fact that we are offering round-trip cruise options from Vancouver, from Seattle, from San Francisco, and from LA. So if you have any clients that live close to those markets, then you know that you have the opportunity just to drive to the ship and then go to that great destination of Alaska without having to get on a plane. We also have a new program called the Princess MedallionClass, which is going to be launching, introduced on 4 ships in 2020. It launched about a year ago, and I'm going to be talking about it in just a moment. But clearly, having it on 4 ships in Alaska in 2020 is pretty great. Now, at Princess, we call ourselves the destination leader, not just because of the places that we go, but how we deliver on that experience when you're there. And I always like to say that, you know, when you step foot on the ship, you should feel like you're going to that destination. And it's about immersing you in that destination throughout your experience, not just when you happen to step off the ship. And one of the programs that really embodies that is North to Alaska. And this is an award-winning program that extends the destination onto the ship. And one of the elements of it, which is why I'm showing you these gorgeous photos, a photo of the sled dog puppies, is that in Skagway, Alaska, we actually bring on sled dog puppies into the piazza, which is the atrium of our ships, so that guests can interact with them. We do it in a very safe, controlled environment. It's one of the highlights of that program. And for those people that aren't going off to do a sled dog experience or to go to the place where the puppies are for the sled dogs, then this is your chance to get up close and interact with them. But it's not just about the sled dogs. There's so much more that we do. It's about the food we bring on from local eateries throughout Juneau and Ketchikan and Skagway, where we bring on the food so you can try it right on board so you don't miss it when you go ashore. It's about bringing on local entertainers, speakers. We partner with the National Park Service, of course, when we go to Glacier Bay, so park rangers come on board to give talks and meet with people one-on-one. Our youth programs interact with various local artisans. You know, Libby Riddles, who was the first female winner of the Iditarod, she comes on every cruise. And then we even have a program in Ketchikan, Alaska, where we bring on local lumberjacks. They do a demonstration, and we put an axe in the hands of our guests so they can learn what it's like to throw an axe. How that got approved by our safety department, I don't know, but trust me, it is safe. And it's a really cool, engaging experience. When you think of Alaska and you think of going to Alaska with Princess, hopefully you're thinking about doing a cruise tour. For those of you that might be new to the industry that don't understand what that means, it's the combination of going on a cruise and visiting one of our lodges in the interior of Alaska and combining it into one trip. And you can either go to the lodge before your cruise or after your cruise, which I'll talk about in a second, but it really helps extend that experience. And so I love to show this photo because my marketing department gave it to me. And if you can barely see it in the background, you've got Denali, which is the highest mountain in North America. And these 4 models are just looking at each other because they're all so pretty. So instead of showing that photo, I actually like to show a picture that highlights Denali. And this was actually sent to me by a travel advisor who was on our Tundra Wilderness Tour in September of last year, or just a couple months ago, what am I saying, to show you just how magnificent Denali really is. And so this is one of the highlights of the journey of why you go on a cruise tour, but there really is so much more, which I'll talk about here in a second. So what's unique about Princess and how we go on, how we operate our cruise tour experience is that a couple things. One is that when you get into Whittier, which is near Anchorage, you sail northbound, let's say from Vancouver to Whittier, you get off the ship and you walk right onto the train. It's our exclusive direct to the wilderness experience. And so same day, you're going from the ship to your lodge without having to overnight in a hotel somewhere. You go right from the ship, and I'm a lazy guy. I like to walk as little as possible. And for me to just walk across this parking lot essentially and get on this beautiful train and go on this wonderful train ride up into the interior in the same day to go to your lodge is pretty special. And I've done this train ride a couple times, and it is one of the highlights of the trip. And it may just be seen as, oh, we're getting from point A to point B, but no, the way you do it in these luxury glass domed rail cars, with people on board, with the food and the service and some of the talks they'll do, interact with the crew on board. But the views of the ocean and then the mountains as you go in, it is an absolute highlight. Now at Princess, we own and operate 5 lodges in the interior of Alaska, and these are just 4 of those. I'm not showing the Fairbanks Lodge, but the 4 of them here, Denali, Kenai, Mount McKinley, and Copper River, all offer something unique. They're all situated, all 5 of our lodges are situated on a very beautiful river, and so the scenery just at the lodge itself is pretty stunning. But each of them offers something unique. Most people are going to do either Denali or Mount McKinley because it's all about getting to see the mountain. And Denali sits on the northern side of the park, and it's a great entrance point into the park, but you don't actually see the mountain from Denali. So we actually built Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge several years back just to give that better view of Denali. I mean, that shows you the scale of our operation and how serious we take it, that we were willing to invest in building a new lodge just to provide an amazing view of Denali. So at the lodges, when you're there, we've really upgraded the dining experience, the overall ambiance, things to do, whether it's sitting by the fireplace, drinking a beer and having some s'mores. We actually partner with the folks at Treehouse Masters on that TV show to build a treehouse at Mount McKinley. So it's really all about the experience and making sure people feel comfortable and having a great time. But when you're there, when your clients are there, make sure they're taking full advantage of their time and getting out and seeing the beautiful nature. And so whether you want to go fly fishing or whitewater rafting or do a sled dog trip or go four-wheel drive, ATVing around, hiking, kayaking, you name it, the options are definitely there. One of the things that we are introducing for the first time in 2020 is what we call the Ultimate Princess Alaska Cruise Tour. And so we offer a number of cruise tours which are connoisseur cruise tours, and this means that they are escorted and you spend a little more money because you're getting that personalized service where you're escorted throughout. If you're not on one of these, don't worry, you're not left alone, to wander in the woods on your own. You're going to be taken care of, but this is a kind of a hand-holding experience where people can feel really special. And this is the ultimate in feeling special because what we've done is crafted this tour to actually visit all 5 of our lodges plus go on the cruise. That's why it is 17 nights. So it's fully escorted, most meals are included, you get some other tours and experiences included. And I want to show you a map of just what you get to see when you go on this trip. And I'm showing this to you, but last I heard, this is almost, even though we have a number of departure dates, these are selling really well. And so, but I wanted to show this to you because it kind of, to me, gives a good overview of just what we offer in Alaska with our cruise tour experience. So as part of this tour, you're going to get to see 4 national parks. Okay, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 national parks: Denali, Kenai Fjords, Wrangell St. Elias, and Glacier Bay. You are going to get to, like I said, see all 5 of the lodges. Okay, so Fairbanks, Denali, Mount McKinley, Kenai, and then Copper River. And then you get 2 nights on each of them, so you get an experience on each of them for 2 nights. And then you take a shuttle that will take a high-speed ferry shuttle that will take you across Prince William Sound, a high-speed catamaran, I should say, to then get on your ship so that you can then do your southbound trip from Whittier down to Vancouver with stops in Skagway, Juneau, and Ketchikan. But wait, there's more. Not only are you seeing those main ports, but you're also getting to see the Hubbard Glacier or College Fjord Glacier. and Glacier Bay National Park. Every one of these will stop at Glacier Bay National Park, and it's just a question of whether you go to Hubbard or College Fjord. It depends on that itinerary. But what an amazing trip to see all of that in 17 days. And so that's why I really wanted to showcase it. A lot of people ask me, well, what's the best time to go to Alaska? And it really depends. Our season is from May to September. And so there's no guaranteeing anything, right? You can't control the weather. You can't control whether you're going to see a moose or a whale. But clearly there's different times that are typical for when is good to go if you want to fish versus if you want to see whales. I mean, you're going to have an opportunity to see whales throughout the entire season. Fishing is great, but there's usually peak months in like June or July. And one of the things people often ask about is, well, when can I see the Northern Lights? Typically, you don't see the Northern Lights until you are later in the season, right? And so it's actually kind of rare in September to see it. So you can't promise anything, but if you want to go in September, that's usually your best chance to see the Northern Lights. The photo I'm showing you now, it's not the best photograph. It was taken on the iPhone by the captain on Star Princess in May of this year, not September, May of this year, sailing out of Ketchikan. And it was done after midnight. They were sailing through the harbor area there in the channel. And he noticed the Northern Lights, and he actually got on the PA to let everybody know, hey, I'm sorry to alert you, don't mean to scare you, but if you want to see the Northern Lights, bundle up and come out on deck because it's pretty magnificent. So that is part of the adventure of cruising to Alaska. You never know what you're going to see, but there's usually something special just around the corner. So I have had the great pleasure of going to Alaska with my family. Here's some photos of our trips a few years back to celebrate my mom's 70th birthday. We did the trip out to the ice field to do the sled dogging. Saw that picture on the bottom left. I actually took that photograph, got very lucky of a bald eagle swooping down to catch a fish out of the ocean. And of course, we had just a wonderful time throughout wherever we went. Okay, now I want to ask you a question, which I know you can't answer me directly because I can't hear you, but is Cunard, the great Cunard brand, going to Alaska? Cunard's celebrating 180 years. She has quite an iconic history within cruising. And a lot of people think of Cunard, think of transatlantics or maybe going to Europe or Canada, New England. But I have to say, hopefully you are aware, Cunard is going to Alaska. And this year we did a handful of voyages on Queen Elizabeth. And next year in 2020, we're going to be doing 9 sailings, round trip out of Vancouver. Great way that the voyages have been scheduled so you maximize your day in port. They're less crowded port days, and bringing some enrichment speakers and experts on board Cunard. So for your clients that might be looking for that luxury experience, definitely check out the Cunard opportunity. And if they want to do a pre or post cruise trip out of Vancouver, we've partnered with Rocky Mountaineer, so you can do a luxury train experience with our good folks at Rocky Mountaineer. So that's a little side question there on Cunard. I'm glad you all passed the test and you now know that Cunard is going to Alaska. Okay, I wanted to mention briefly about the military benefit that Princess offers, best in the industry, up to $250 in onboard credit. This is for active duty, retired, disabled veterans for U.S. and Canada. And once you get registered in our system, it's very easy with the form you have to provide us with. For any voyage there on out, you will get your benefit. And then the onboard credit varies based on the length of the voyage. It's available on any cruise. It doesn't affect your price or commission or any of that kind of stuff. It's just our gift to them, and thank you for their service. So my dad was captain of Battleship Missouri, was his last position in the Navy. He was in the Navy for 24 years. And so this is near and dear to my heart and our way of saying thank you to all those who have served. Now at Princess, I talked about the loyalty program earlier, but I wanted to mention a new update that it actually now is applicable to anyone regardless of your age. Before we used to have you had to be 18 and older to reap the benefits of it. Now all kids, kids young and old, are able to take the benefit of it. So for you, if you have any clients who have kids who sailed a lot with Princess, they now can receive those benefits, which is great. I don't think any other line is doing that. But it is something that we are very pleased to introduce. And we've actually announced that are some pretty well-traveled kids. We have Alexis over there. He's only 15. He's done 538 days at sea. And Wyatt has done he's 9 years old, and he's done 46 cruises. So these kids are much like my kids, spoiled brats, and they've been able to see the world, and good for them. They are well-traveled. Okay, talk about Princess Medallion Class a little bit. So this technology was introduced first on the Caribbean Princess just about a year ago now. And within that year, we've been able to see some pretty amazing response from our guests and from travel advisors alike. I won't spend a lot of time on it today, but if you haven't already taken the Academy course on Medallion Class, you should definitely do that. If you're not registered in the Princess Academy, you're missing out because we see a double-digit increase in sales for those people that do take our course. And if you become a Commodore, that's the highest ranking of the course tiers. Once you become a Commodore, you then get a free cruise offer. And when you sail with us, whenever you sail with us, we recognize you as an elite member, so you get all those benefits. But on Medallion Class, there's some basic principles behind it, and it's really about giving you more time as a guest to experience your vacation and have fun with your vacation rather than waiting in line or going to get things. Things are coming to you, and I'll talk about those in just a second. So one of the coolest ways that this thing works is everybody gets the medallions personalized to them, and when you approach your door, it unlocks it for you so you can just use your elbow or your hand to open the door. And in this case, we've taken a picture. I sell Medallion Class. There's a number of reasons why, and I'm just going to list two of them for you today. First and foremost is that in any business, you want to provide a great experience and great service so people come back, right? I talked about that earlier with our loyalty program. And what we are seeing with the Medallion Class is that there's a double-digit increase in satisfaction scores from guests who are on Medallion Class ships versus the rest of our fleet. And so what that means is the higher your satisfaction, the greater your experience on a cruise, the more likely you are to come back. And that means more business for you. And then the power of that network of people who are satisfied to give referrals to their friends and family. Hopefully, referrals are the number one most validated form of marketing out there, more than any advertisement, billboard, banner ad, email, you name it. If you get a referral from somebody that you're more likely to buy that product because you trust that referral that you're getting. So that's just all tied into the Medallion Class, and we're super thrilled that we are seeing that experience ratings going up. And it's also about the opportunity to attract new clients, or maybe your existing clients or new people that have been a little bit hesitant to take a cruise, who are really looking to maximize their vacation time. I don't know about you, but I don't get to vacation 365 days out of the year. It's very limited. And so when I do go on vacation with my family, I want to really maximize it and have the most fun and the most enjoyable experiences possible. And that's what Medallion Class is all about. It's waiting in line less, not having to wait to get on the ship, not having to deal with small inconveniences that you might find on a cruise, that are really about streamlining that experience. So I mentioned earlier, we had some travel advisors sail with us, and this is another one who sailed, and I couldn't have written this better myself. Her comment on her experience with her family was, it was the best cruise they've ever taken and the very best family vacation they've ever had, ever. The Medallion Class experience exceeded all of her expectations. And so that was a great testament. And I will say, this was back in February when they sailed, and the Medallion Class, the experience and the technology is getting better and better every month. And so we're really thrilled to see kind of where the future goes with it. And I will say that when it comes to our fleet, because a lot of people ask me which ships, we've got 5 ships up and running right now with Medallion Class: the Caribbean, the Regal, the Royal, the Crown, and the Sky Princess. And then we've got a bunch more coming. So by the end of 2020, we're going to have 11 ships. We've got 6 more to go over the next year. So the Ruby Princess is up next in January. And then when the Discovery Princess launches in November of 2021, that ship will also have it. But our goal is to have this on our entire fleet. We just haven't announced this full launch of all the ships. So just keep an eye on, watch this space, as I like to say. But clearly, we are really focused on having this as consistent as possible. Okay, so tomorrow we are launching the best sale ever. And this is our new promotion that's going into market tomorrow. And I want to spend a little bit of time explaining this to you, because the name is not meant to fool you. The name is clearly what it's intended to be, which is the best sale ever. And so let me walk you through a couple of the facts here so you understand it fully. You can explain it to your clients. First up, we see that it launches tomorrow, and it's going to end on February 29th. And yes, there is a February 29th. We have a leap year. And it's applicable on all cruises and cruise tours for Princess sailing April 2020 and later. So anything we have published beyond that point, we will have it included in the sale. And it applies to voyages that are 3 days and longer. Okay, it does not include full world cruise or grand voyages, just because of the length of the voyages. But it applies to everything else. And it's available in all cabin categories, including 3rd and 4th guests, and even 5th guests if you're in the Sky Suites or some of our family suites that we have throughout our ship. So let's talk in some detail about this, and let's first go and hit on the trade. So our main focus of this promotion is really summer 2020. So you've got Alaska with our cruises and cruise tours. You got Europe, the Caribbean, and Japan. A lot of people, if you don't know, we go to Japan. We go to Japan. We have a ship dedicated there. We've had it there for about 7 or 8 years now, Diamond Princess. Wonderful experience. I was there earlier in the year with my family. And if you haven't considered going to Japan on a cruise with Princess, you really need to, because it is an awesome trip for people young and old. All right, but it doesn't stop with just these trades. It also includes Panama Canal, Canada, New England, Hawaii, Mexico, California coast, Asia, South America and Antarctica, Australia and New Zealand, not New England, New Zealand. That is a typo. We need to fix that, sorry. And Tahiti and South Pacific, we are going back in 2020, in October of 2020. Can't believe it. So all those trades are covered under the Best Sale Ever. So we're not just doing it on select trades. It's basically everything we have. Now, there are 3 main elements to it that you get with part of this promotion. You get our premier beverage package, you get unlimited Wi-Fi, and you have gratuities included, paid for you to our crew. So those are the 3 main elements of it: beverages, Wi-Fi, and drinks. And let's talk about what that means from a value proposition standpoint. If you were to go and buy those 3 elements, those 3 items, drinks, Wi-Fi, and gratuities, on their own, it would be a value of, it would cost you $95.28 per day, okay? And that is included in the price that you're paying as part of the Best Sale Ever. And what's great about that, as a travel advisor, that means the price is higher, so it means more commission for you, all right? We'll talk about what the value proposition looks like in some real world examples here, okay? I wanna show you an Alaska sailing 7-day cruise. And, you know, we're talking about Best Sale Ever, but we are still going to offer what we call Princess Savers, which is a fare-only rate, okay? So there's no value adds included. There's nothing special about it other than you're going to go on the cruise and you're going to pay a price, and that's it. And then it's up to you to buy whatever you want when you get on board. So let's look at the balcony price there, okay? So the Princess Savers rate is $1,239. Best Sale Ever is $1,539, okay? So that's a $300 premium that you're paying for the Best Sale Ever versus Princess Savers. But the value of what you're getting, based on what I just talked to you about for the $95.28 a day, is worth $665. So that is the discount that you're getting by buying Best Sale Ever. Then if you want to look at a longer sailing, so again, this is on a per day rate. This is an 11-day cruise, round trip out of Copenhagen. Balcony cabin is $2,300 on Princess Savers, so fare only. But if you do Best Sale Ever, it's $2,849, so you're paying $500 more. Why would you pay $500 more? Well, it's because you're getting a value of $1,045. So if any of your clients want to shop it around, or they're a little skeptical on what they're getting for what they're spending, just know we've got some real world great examples here, and you can check it out when it goes live tomorrow. And it is truly the best value. Now, I want to say, before I talk in detail on this slide, I want to say we created this promotion by talking to a number of our travel partners to say, what's out there in the marketplace, what works, what doesn't work, what's difficult, what do you hear, what's the feedback you're hearing from your clients? And this is the feedback we use to help create this program. And so it's really simple. I mean, that you pay for that and that's what you get. There's no having to pick and choose. And that's something that I'm going to talk to you about here that we think sets us apart. So first and foremost, there are no hidden fees. So unlike, this is a comparison chart of what we're doing versus what other cruise lines are doing. There's no additional charge for the drinks. Some brands, they'll offer you the premier or their beverage package, their version of that, which by the way isn't as good as ours, but they offer it, and then they still require you to pay the tips on top of that. That's not the case with us. The tips are included with our beverage package. The offer applies to all stateroom types. I said it earlier, this is not just balcony and above. This is everything. So whether you're in an inside cabin or you're in the Sky Suite on Sky Princess, you're going to get the inclusion of those 3 amazing benefits. Okay, and then it's simple. There's no selecting and choosing. One of the resounding things we heard from travel advisors throughout the US and Canada was that when you have to pick 3 or pick 4 or pick 5, it gets very complicated to make those bookings because of all the permutations of how you can actually put all those packages together. This is simple. You get all 3 of those things, and there's no choosing to be had. This is near all-inclusive. Legally, I can't say it's all-inclusive because you know, if you go to the spa or the boutiques or whatever, but listen, this is about as inclusive as you can get that's out there, and it's super simple to make it easy. And that ease transfers to you when you make the booking. There's no understanding of multiple promotion codes. It's all there under one code, which is super great. Now, the Premier Beverage Package is for everyone in the cabin. So if you have a 3rd and 4th berth guest that's with you that wants that benefit, that's great. They can have that. You don't have to pay extra for it. It's part of that fare as well. So everyone in the cabin gets it. And again, the offer is available in all categories of cabins, like I said, inside and up, and it includes those third, fourth, and fifth berths. And not every brand, does that. Talking in a little detail about the Premier Beverage Package, it is, pretty expansive what it includes: cocktails, wine, beer, coffee, tea, sodas, energy drinks, bottled water, you name it. It's for all guests in the stateroom. The bar gratuity, like I said, is included, and it's for guests of legal drinking age. So if you have clients that are going to bring their kids with them, then they can still benefit from it, but they obviously aren't going to be served the alcohol. And if you have people that don't drink alcohol, there's still huge value in this because it's not just about the booze. It's about the coffees, Premier coffees, the bottled water, the energy drinks, smoothies, all that stuff is included in the package. So it is pretty all inclusive, even if you don't drink. Now the Wi-Fi for guests, it's for all guests in the stateroom, and they get one device per guest. Okay, so if you have an iPhone and a tablet or an iPad, then you can connect to each of those individually, but you cannot have them simultaneously connected. But each guest in the stateroom gets that benefit. Now, for the ships that are Medallion Net and what we call Princess Connect enabled ships, that's where you're based on a megabyte download limit. On the Medallion Net and the Princess Connect ships, it's unlimited Wi-Fi. So you don't have to worry about tracking minutes or anything like that. On the couple ships we have left that are still on a minute-based connectivity, we're giving 5,000 minutes, which is a lot of minutes of browsing, right? If you need more than that, you should probably stay home. But this is an amazing benefit. And I'll just note it does not apply to our land portion of our cruise tours yet, although we are hoping to fix that very soon. Now, the gratuities, there's no discounting of the gratuities. We are paying the gratuity rates that we pass on to our crew just as if you were to buy them directly. There's no discounting of that. The discounting comes with the Wi-Fi and with the drink package, okay? But just want you to know it applies for all the guests in the stateroom. It's the standard prepaid gratuity amount. It doesn't include specialty dining or spa services, but again, it does include the bar charges because that's part of the Premier Beverage Package, okay? Now, this offer combines with standard groups, any cruise sales you might be doing, any recipient-only offers, or Captain Circle launch savings, so it's all combinable with that. It doesn't combine with other promotions, so you can't double dip on the promotion, and there is a capacity control limit, but that's a good problem to get to if we have that, because we are opening this thing up wide. On a deposit basis, it's only $100 per guest per booking, and our full suites are $200 per guest, and short cruises are $50 per guest. This is US, and then refundable deposit, which is nice. You get $100 per guest refundable, and you're only required for guests 1 and 2. Okay, so if you have third and fourth berth guests, you do not have to pay the deposit on them. You can also find non-refundable deposit options, which will actually lower the price point, both for Princess Savers and for Best Sale Ever. Just so you know, if your people are locked in, they know, hey, I'm not worried about canceling this, then you can do the non-refundable deposit, and they will have the benefit. All right, so one of the things that you might be saying to yourself is, well, I have some existing clients that have booked, and I'm really worried about them because they're going to want to retro or refare into this because this is a better deal than what they bought under. So what happens to them? We have thought about this, and I want to walk you through a couple of different circumstances. So just so you know, retroactively changing the booking is allowed for Best Sale Ever. So if you had them booked under a previous promotion, you can refare them, but just be careful and make sure this is what your client wants. You might want to just mention that they can actually upgrade their cabin and just be done with it. And then some people are happy with that. But some people do want to actually go through and get those benefits. And what we're doing is going to be giving you the option to actually use a code to pay for the amenities that might be missing. But I like to say be careful of refaring because it can have pitfalls. If you cancel somebody's booking, because I want this rate and that's what I want to do, that's fine. You may not get the cabin you want. You may lose some benefits. So just be very careful, especially if you've got air discounts or air credits, okay? That's very important. So you have to always be careful with that because that's a little bit of a game changer. We have offered some codes, which I'll show you on the next screen, to make upgrading simple. So let's say you are booked under a promotion that has drinks included, but it doesn't have the Wi-Fi and the gratuities. We're going to give you a code that allows you to basically upgrade that booking for a modest daily fee per guest so they can get the full benefit of that if that's what your client wants. Okay, so we're going to offer that to you, and I'll show it to you in just a second. Now, most of the upgrades are really easy to do, so you can actually refare or add those amenities yourself using our Polar Online or Sabre, whatever GDS you work with by entering the code I'll show you on the next page. If you have an air credit You have to call us. You cannot do it online in Polar, so I'm sorry, but you have to call us. And I will warn you right now, if you have a bunch of bookings on that you want to look at this tomorrow, I don't recommend you call tomorrow because we're going to be really busy taking new bookings, but you can go into Polar and you can do this, or Sabre, and you can do this yourself. And if you have questions, I would give it a couple days to let kind of the calm return before you spend a lot of time holding on the phone. Okay, so here's a view of what we're doing in terms of the amenity code. So if you're trying to add drinks, Wi-Fi, and gratuities, let's say you booked under a promotion that only has, let's say, an onboard credit. You can book using the best 3 coupon code to add drinks, Wi-Fi, and gratuities for only $40 per person per day. Now remember, that is a value of $95.28, so we're only going to charge $40. If you want to add just drinks and gratuities, let's say you already have Wi-Fi, there's your code there. If you want to add drinks and Wi-Fi, you got the code. If you're just adding Wi-Fi and gratuities, we think we've done all the permutations of what you might need to add, and you can see the rate goes from $40 a day down to $25 a day. So we think it's pretty valuable. Okay, now I've only just shared this information with you, but I want to give you a quiz, a few questions. Can your client pick 2 of the 3 best sale ever perks? Let's say they only want Grats and the Wi-Fi. What do you think the answer is? I can hear you right now. You're all saying, no, all 3 are part of the sale. That's what you get. Good answer. What if your client doesn't drink alcoholic beverages? I thought B was kind of funny. They should start drinking them. No, that's not funny. That's not appropriate. Some people don't drink for good reason. And so the answer is that, well, it's multiple choice here. You got to answer C and D. There are many non-alcoholic options like I talked about. And you know what? They're not forced to have this package. They can choose a fare with no perks if that's what they really want to do. So we're giving you that flexibility. How many people in the state room must book into Best Sale Ever? Option A, guest 1, plus then he or she can just buy drinks for everybody else. No, that's not really good. B, none, they can choose a fare-only option. C, all guests in the state room must opt in. D, guests 1 and 2 and guests 3 and 4 may opt out. This is kind of a trick question because I didn't tell you this yet, but the answer is B and D. So again, you can choose a fare-only option if you want, but also if you buy into this, guests 1 and 2 have to have it together, the best sale ever. But let's say you got young kids. Let's say you got 4 or 5-year-old kids and they don't need Wi-Fi, they don't need the drink package, and you don't want to pay the extra price for them. That's fine. You can opt out for guests 3 and 4. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, in order to do that, you have to call us to make the adjustment on the booking. But just know you can book them at a Princess Saver only rate for guests 3 and 4, while guests 1 and 2 can get the best sale ever rate. I think that's pretty awesome. I think this is my last question. How many devices per guest for Wi-Fi are provided? Hopefully you were paying attention and you know that 1 device can be used at a time per guest, 1 per guest. Oh, I have one more question, sorry. When we say gratuities are included, what does that mean? It means your stateroom gratuities are paid by Princess, but it's also kind of a trick question because don't forget, the drink tips are included as part of the Premier beverage package. All right, so here's a recap of the offer. Best sale ever includes drinks, Wi-Fi, and gratuities, all destinations, all cabin types, and everyone in the stateroom is getting this benefit. So a super cool and super valuable promotion that we have in Marketplace starting tomorrow. All right, I'm going to wrap up my presentation here by appealing to your softer side, showing you a picture of my dog Murphy. He's the cutest thing on the planet. And I'm doing that to really highlight the fact that I am desperate and I am hoping that you'll like me on Facebook. So please go into Facebook, search for Princess VP Sales, and you'll find my page, and please like me or follow me there. Don't look for my name because when they fire me, they want to be able to keep the account going. On behalf of everybody here at Princess Cruises, we got about 30,000 men and women out there who serve on our ships around the world. I want to thank you so much for your support of our great brand. And with that, I will open it up for some questions. And I think what I'm going to do, got a couple questions here. Let's see. And yes, it is one of the questions. I don't have a lot of questions, so that means I did a great job providing you the information. Is this available for group bookings? Yes, the best sale ever will combine with your standard group fare. So hopefully you saw that in there. And if you need more information, go to onesourcecruises.com, and we've put some flyers and all sorts of materials on there so you can help understand a little bit better, or you can contact your local BDM if you're connected with them, of course. I got to thank you, Teresa, you're very welcome. And with that, without any other questions, I'm not sure how we're drawing the prize of the cruise, but I know that it's going to be drawn. Do we know when are we going to do that now, or are we going to do it later? Okay, I think we have an audio issue back to the home office there. Hopefully you can all still hear me. It sounds like you can, but our host cannot. So I know they are going to be drawing the prize from all the people here who have registered. So thank you for tuning in until the very end. I'm getting a question about how we can print the slides. I am not sure how you can do that. And these are all copyrighted, and if you printed them, I would sue you, and we'd be in court for the rest of our lives. I'm kidding, I wouldn't do that. I'm not sure how we can get that to you, but just know that the information is going to be on onesourcecruises.com, especially related to Best Sale Ever. And with all of that, I think I'm going to say thank you so much for your support of Princess and Cunard Line. I wish you all a very, very happy holiday season. By the way, Christmas is in a couple of weeks, for those of you who didn't know. And wonderful time with your friends and family. Be safe out there. Thank you for your support. And we will see you all very soon. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.